over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. We're committed to quality, affordability and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price, turnkey. It's gotta be HPG. HPG Homes.
Come on! Wait up!
Is everyone ready to play?
I think the people involved, you get to meet a lot of people in football, and that's just one of the great things. Not only is the sport great, but the people involved, so fellow referees, players, coaches, even fans. I love officiating because it keeps me involved in football. I was a player, but I don't reckon I could cut it out there anymore, at least at any decent level. But as a referee, I get to be involved in high levels of football. Keeps me involved, keeps me fit, and is great fun. I think I have a moment of this is why I do this every week. It's always good fun to get out there, and there are tough moments, but being resilient and succeeding, even just in the little things throughout a match. I think embracing challenges is such an important skill to learn, and as a referee you'll surely come across a lot of them, and I certainly have. I reckon give it a go. You will face challenges, but that's a part of it, and I think embracing challenges is such an important skill to learn.
At Service FM, we know every workplace is different. Every challenge is unique. That's why we personalise our services to our customers' different needs across different industries. From medical to mining and manufacturing, hospitality to healthcare, commercial to defence. So when you need to create a better work environment, you need Service FM. Proud partner with Football South Australia.
Adelaide wakes up with 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings, Tom Wren for sport, Jade Robran on the scene as it happens, Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide, Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local and only on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Good evening and welcome to round 16 action here in the RAA NPL South Australia for tonight's matchup between home side and current reigning champions Croydon FC and the visiting Adelaide United. I'm your commentator, Con Kamitsis, for what is sure to be quite an enthralling matchup as we take a look at the lineups for both these teams, starting with the home team, Croydon FC. Number 1, Daniel Margush. Number 5, Luke Klimic. Number 7, Pasia John. Number 8, Adam Martinello. Number 11, Oscar Slattery. Number 12, Luca Trimboli. Number 14, Edward Stiles. Number 15, James Polly. Number 17, Yuya Kato. Number 22, Bol Mapor. Number 23, Freddie Muller. As for the away side, Adelaide United. Number 13, Max Vartuli. Number 46, Ali Motashami. Number 48, Bay Versace. Number 52, Satirius Phyllis. Number 57, Liam Stam. Number 19, Daniel Wachik. Number 65, Joey Garuccio. Number 67, Luka Blazevic. Number 74, Amlani Tatu. Number 79, Faizo Kusumovic. And number 85, Declan Cooper and Dembuki. Simon Jimenez.
I'll answer both. The top 6 for either side. That'll be me taking part in the final series. In terms of form for these two teams, I had the privilege of being on an absolute thriller at Kilburn Sportsplex last week, in which Croydon went down 3-0 inside of the first 12 minutes. It was 4-1 by the time it got to half-time. They came out, scored 3 goals in the first 15 minutes, and ended up being a 5-all game. So pretty extraordinary for Croydon. They'll be hoping to take some of that form into tonight. But, Adelaide United seem to be finding their form at the right time of the year too.
Seems like both these teams are probably in, like I said, similar votes. You had the privilege last week of a 5-all draw. Adelaide United also drew last week, 1-1 with Comets, who have been struggling most of the season. But that 5-goal spurt from Croydon, and really it's what they
put their nose back in front. So, they don't mind the late drama. It's not good for the heart health of the spectators, but certainly makes for exciting football. I guess the challenge for Croydon tonight, though, as well, is you're going up against an Adelaide United team that just looks so different from week to week. We even spoke off-air before who's going to be playing for them tonight. But although that is a bit of a challenge for them, they seem to be putting together some decent performances from week to week. So
that is correct, Simon. And as you mentioned, week to week it's different, and it's going to be very different because they've actually lost a couple of players to other clubs this week, and those signings were actually, I think they were announced today or yesterday, whenever it was, I can't quite remember. But Alex Battistella has gone back to Adelaide City, and Bailey O'Neill's also signed at Adelaide City, who I think was released a couple of weeks ago on the part of the A-League sort of players that were released. But a couple of big losses for them, but they do get a big in Tatu, who comes back into the lineup. And I think for these Adelaide United players, they play a system that most of them can just come straight in and out of, so it's pretty easy, but their results don't really show that. The last 5 weeks, like I mentioned, a draw 1-1 last week, a draw the week before with Adelaide City 0-0. They lost to West Adelaide 3-1. They drew with Playford 0-0, but they beat Bacalla 3-0. So the results are really up in the air, aren't they?
It's a bit of a roll of the dice, and to be honest, that's been the case with Croydon a little bit as well. You look at their form chart, and you just get win-loss to simplify it a little bit. But it's about getting some consistency this time of year. It's felt like we blinked, and all of a sudden we're at round 16. So it's just so important now to get every point. It's valuable. valuable. And in that mid-table on the edge of the 6, that's just gold at the moment. I believe it was only last week that Croydon actually snuck their way into the top 6 as well, so that's another factor that will be interesting. They'll be hoping that now that they are there, they can stay there. So very interesting one coming up in terms of the players that have left as well. Battistella's a pretty interesting one, because in the games I've seen him take part, and he's been pretty instrumental for Adelaide United. So I imagine that he's going to be one that they really miss. And with Amlani Tatu coming back in, I think everyone knows how talented he is, but can he bring that good form consistently?
Well, Daniel Cook is the referee in that bright pink outfit, which I really like, just quietly. Makes them stand out. So Daniel Cook kicks things off. Dion Turner, assistant referee 1, and Zach Britton, assistant referee 2, as Adelaide United go forward straight away. Polly has to clear. Martinello loses out there. Klimek releases the pressure again. Croydon with a quick break forward on this side here. It's going to be Slattery, but he's closed down quite quickly.
Comes in, and that was a nice flying header attempt for Passia John, but the final ball's just a bit wayward.
And Passia John's another one as well, Simon. He hasn't had the biggest year like he did last year. Last year he was scoring just about every second week at least, and really was quite pivotal in their run to that title. So if they can pick up the results they have been and work their way deeper into this 6th of the final series, and he picks up some form, they could be into a good position again.
I remember last time these two teams played earlier on in the year, it was at Service FM Stadium. I thought Passia John was having a pretty quiet first half till just before the break, I believe it was. He launches one from the halfway mark and slots it from there, so he's a bit of a
wild card.
Yeah, that's the perfect word for it. Bit of a wild card.
Here he is now. Can't beat his, what looks from up here, a lot smaller opponent on that far side.
Trying to see the number of the player. It's
very hard to see with the souvlaki smoke over the stadium. It's a challenge from behind, but the referee's happy with that. He got the ball. It's kept in on the near side. Near side is where Croydon like to do the damage too. There's Slattery.
Slattery was a big piece of the puzzle for Croydon coming back in the second half last week. I've been impressed in the most recent games I've seen from him, so he'll be one to watch today.
Here's Max Vatuli. Oh, he took his time, had to release on the right foot. Bolmapore just towers above Motsashami to win the header, and it's going to end up back with Vatuli again. He's going to go back on that right foot. It's not his best clearance, but it nearly found Garuccio. So Croydon with the ball again. The switch is on to John. Goes back to his captain Klimek. Turned over his Amlani Tatu. Garuccio. Switches play to the far side. See John tracks back well. Does well not to foul initially, but then a little bit of a shirt pull there by Passia John. Gives away the foul. What was the main key last week for Croydon when they did go down? I mean, I don't think it's going to happen again, but I can guarantee that the home fans wouldn't be too happy if it did. But when they came back, Simon, in that game, what stood out from the perspective of the commentary?
Well, I don't know. To be honest, the first ones that came in from West Adelaide happened so quickly. It was almost like the game hadn't even settled in. So you can't even talk about general play, because the first one came in less than 2 minutes. And then it's like you blink and they were 3-0 down. Once the game started to settle, and it was that goal that almost came against the run of play that Croydon scored that started to give them a little bit of momentum. Then West Adelaide got that late one in the first half, and that, I think, was probably against the run of how things were going. Then Croydon came out in the second half, and it's just how they were dealing with things in possession, just a lot better. Slattery was an option on that left-hand side, and he was using his width well, and just the Trimbolis in the middle. That was the other thing that was interesting, the two Trimbolis together. Usually one comes off in the second half, and it's a Trimboli for Trimboli swap. So seeing them two there in the absence of Passia John and having to adapt a little bit, maybe that was just a situation that they looked significantly more comfortable in the second half. So, yeah, I think that's probably the best way to summarise it.
Oh, you've done very well, for sure. And when you look at tonight, obviously, Vivian doesn't start, so maybe that was something that the coaching staff from Croydon pulled. Here goes Polly getting into the box, goes to ground. Cook says, play on. There was contact there, but not enough.
Yeah, so it looks like Muller's slipped into that centre-back position where Vivian was last week, and then Polly coming back, and he's slipped back into left back as per usual. Passia John resumes where he was. I think there was I think Passia John was the only other change because he came off that suspension, so he comes in for Oliver Trimboli.
Martinello wins the header, falls to the feet now of Passia John. The overlapping run is made into the box. Klimek made the not the deepest run, but the last run into the box. The delayed run, you could say. Now here goes United on the counter-attack. Amlani Tatu. Bolmapur cuts across. Tatu can't beat him. Bolmapur does very well. And I'm pretty certain that Bolmapur just got told to release that ball and stay in position then. So we've seen him a couple of times. I've done a few games Croydon have played, and he likes to get forward, but then he gets caught out and has to make some rash challenges. And I think they're just trying to get rid of that, and that looks like it's offside. No, the flag stays down. So here is Stam in the box early. It's a goal. Oh, goodness me. I was about to say it was a goal. It was beckoning.
It was close. A bit too close for
It was a late run because Garucho was at the near post and he sort of just dummied it. Coming in was Motashami. And Daniel Magush will take the goal kick, and fortunately for Croydon, they don't go down to a deficit early in the game again. That would not have been in the playbook, that's for sure.
We had a very interesting conversation about after the match last week about Daniel Margush, because believe it or not, with some of the saves that he pulled off, he was sort of in the conversation for one of the best players. And I think by default, when 5 goals end up going into the back of the net, you can't really pick a keeper. But by the same token, it could have been 3 more if he hadn't been on
Here's
side.
Trimboli. Sorry to cut you off, but that was a cheap turnover by United, and Trimboli down the other end just like that.
Looks very, very close from where we're sitting.
Yeah, we're sort of right behind that. Pretty much the exact same view the viewers have on the FSA League's live stream. Streamed all around the world, watched by many. I'm not too sure there's a whole heap that watch it for the same reason we do. I think there's a few punters out there that like getting on there.
Well, I do see some of the players putting up the broadcast time and then the time conversion as well.
Here's Passia John. One way, the other. Now he gets onto his left foot. Bolmapur is in that no-bleed section. Can Bolmapur get the shot away? No, he can't. Trimboli's there, and Trimboli swivels and puts it into the bottom left-hand corner. That looked like it was just all too easy for Croydon FC. Trimboli did very, very well. It was almost like watching a video of his old man, the way he just stood the defender and held him in his place, swiveled, turned, shot into the bottom corner. And I'm sure that is one that would be a very proud moment to see a goal scored very similar to what you used to do if you were his dad, that's for sure.
Well, he is here tonight watching, so maybe it does put in a little bit of extra pressure on him. But no, that was great work. You just see how dangerous they are when they go forward and they've got numbers in front. And maybe that was a thing that, just looking back on last week as well, that it seemed to be a bit of a difference for him. And in that instance, we were talking about Bolmapur just a couple of minutes ago. He came into support. I think you said it pretty well there. Maybe he just has to pick his times of when he does come to not leave him vulnerable. But when he does have the opportunity to come forward, I mean, he got one to his name. He was one of the 10 different goal scorers last week. He got his in the second half, so...
And that's a great ball forward. Stam gets there before Polly. Again, the runs are there for Adelaide United, but Polly does very well to defend, and that one comes off Garuccio's upper shoulder, which is not handball. But Adelaide United looking still quite dangerous on that little counter-attack when they do that, get the ball going forward quite quickly.
Yeah, well, their last opportunity for him was on the counter, and just, it seemed like nowhere. They just manifested numbers onto the edge of the 18-yard box.
And Kasumovic goes all the way back to Vartuli. Here's Phyllis playing a few A-League minutes this season. Satiri Phyllis, one of those young players that signed that full contract at the start of the year, and when the likes of Friends and Co went down and Kikianis had a few weeks off, stepped in and did not a bad job in the A-League for a young player. Normally they have the freedom to express themselves, and most of them do when they go into the A-League, so it's good to see. Here's Stam. Montashami makes the little run. Can he get there first? He can. Oh, it's a little deflected across. I think it was Borshik. No, it was Blazovic.
It's beautiful tight little runs from Adelaide United, and that's the same as when they built that other opportunity before. They don't necessarily use the full space. I mean, they can when they want to, but just the way they can come through the middle with those quick passes.
Oh, and Magush has to make a smart save, and it was Kasumovic with a header. I think it was Kasumovic. I'll tell you what, from up here, Kasumovic and Phyllis look very much alike.
Yes, they do.
Ball comes in. Tatu's going to be the one to pick it up. Oh, what a save by Magush off the line again. It's going to be another corner. And then Magush, he's not happy, but I'll tell you what, he's well and truly up for this. That's two smart saves in the space of 2 minutes. Adelaide United putting the pressure on here, trying to equalise.
I think in that instance, Magush probably found himself in the right spot, because, he went for a reflex save, but did it come off his foot in the end? We've got our third corner in quick succession now.
It's going to be Montashami, I believe, taking the corner. It is going to be swung in. Phyllis is being held in the box. Magush comes and punches again. The ball is clipped in by Wojcik. Back post, and that's going to be another corner. I'll tell you what, Adelaide United, the way they rotate and players move in and out, it makes it very hard to call, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
They're just, it's like, we'll wait for this corner. Again, it's going to be swung in by Montashami. Oh, that's not the greatest connection. Here's Tatu all the way back to his goalkeeper, and they just sort of relieve the pressure for Croydon there. Vartuli goes long. Garuccio on that far side now. And there's a prime example of what we were just talking about. Garuccio's been on the right hand side for the first 12 minutes, and then he pops up on the left. Styles turns it over. Adelaide United just getting a little bit of a foothold in this game. Tatu keeps that one in. Adelaide United really trying to force Croydon high up the park. It's when they're at their best and they can play through those lanes and pick players like this out in wide areas. Tatu now through the middle. Had Garuccio as an option, but didn't want to use him, and then turns it over. Slattery lets that bounce. Garuccio gets there, puts the pressure on, and then ends up winning the ball. Phyllis finds Garuccio. Martinello puts the arm around him and he's very lucky there. Lucky that it's not an early yellow card.
But we content at that moment just to stifle Adelaide United, albeit only for a moment, because they've been having this run of possession over the last 2 minutes, and when they are able to implement that and play so confidently, they're just a sight to behold.
They are. And here is Garuccio again. Looks for Tatu, couldn't find him. Phyllis will pick up the scrap though. Oh, Phyllis's misplaced pass. Oh. Trimboldi thought he was in on his way for a second there. Kasumovic holds Trimboldi at bay. Touching Stam. One way, the other way. Now he's going to go all the way back across to Kasumovic. And even Cooper Ndambuki tried to get forward. And then he retreats quickly because Slattery was on his way forward. Now it's Garuccio. Tatu onto his left. Tatu has a shot! Goodness me. That didn't miss by too much. And I think Magush was quite worried about it.
What a shot from Tatu. When he has those sorts of nights, he's just so dangerous, and maybe that's a little bit of a preview of what's to come. But we saw how dangerous Croydon were leading up to that first goal, and over the last, 5 minutes or so, Adelaide United have been settling in, and Croydon just have to really make sure here that they don't get too confident.
And the high press from United, forces Magush to go long, and it's turned straight back over, so that's probably exactly what Adelaide United wants. Here goes United again through the middle. He's allowed to run. Stam clips it to the back post. Cleared by Klimek. Styles turns it over again. Tatu will pick this one up. This time on his right foot he can cut in on. Still Tatu. Tatu goes to ground. Referee says play on. Kasumovic all the way back to Vartuli again, and Adelaide United, even they've gone behind early, they've probably been the better team based on what we've seen after that.
Liam Stam's trying to get as much width out of this pitch as he can. He's got Polly just looking over his shoulder. But the thing about Adelaide United, they can go right down the middle as well as using all that width. So it just makes them a little bit predictable. There's the two markers for Croydon in the middle, just watching Motoshami.
Here's Garuccio, but Slattery does very well. There's Muller. I believe Muller scored the equalising goal at the depth last week for Croydon. Mapaul looks for that blind switch to Pasir John, can't find him. Again, it's going to end up with Mlani Tatu starting to get into this game. The longer it goes in this first half. 17 and a half minutes gone on the One World LED and Sportal scoreboard for your indoor and outdoor solutions. Phyllis thought about playing the ball to Stam, who was basically standing off the pitch. He's that wide.
We're talking about the rotation of some of these United players, and for the last couple of minutes, Mlani Tatu's gone onto the left side, and that's going to continue all night, just switching ends and just being dynamic.
Magush goes long. Gets cooked down to the 2 count, I believe that I heard there. Oh, well, that's not dangerous, but could have been dangerous. Oh, and a little shirt pull there. I think he's gotten away with one, but...
Yeah, from the naked eye here, it looked like UK got the worst of the shirt pull, but
yeah.
Daniel Cook's a little bit closer and at a bit of a different angle to us, but... You do get the picture of the feeling at the moment that Croydon just have to do something just to interrupt the momentum of United.
Cooper Ndambuku gets forward again, puts the ball into probably one of the areas you would love as you're a striker. The problem for that time, though, was what we've seen earlier on. United had plenty in the box. That time they had only the one. Couldn't find that one. And here's Croydon down the other end. Yuya Kato it is. Gets into the box. Kato, cross. Vartuli takes it safely. Cuts inside. Great little run by Motashami again. Looks for the return ball. That time, Captain Klimek has to just put it out for a corner because he actually had 2 players behind him and 1 in front of him, so any miscued clearance there could have been dangerous.
I don't think after nearly 500 games it would be a problem for him, but stranger things have happened.
That's true. That little play there, just a lead up there from Adelaide United, so nice. It wasn't a really long one. It was just quite compact, but it was really well weighted to Motashami, and all of a sudden, Adelaide United were on.
Phyllis looks like he's going to be the target again. A poor header's clear. Here's Amalani Tatu. Kato is there. Tatu does very well to beat him. Gets to the byline, cuts back. Now he's got 3 to beat. Uses Cooper and Ndambuku. His ball nearly brings the rain again. And trust me, we don't need any more. There's been a fair bit. And that's going to be a goal.
Which seems to think it should have been a corner.
Still arguing with the referee. If they were in the World Cup, Simon, they'd be reviewing that.
Not if, but at the World Cup they are reviewing that. That is a fact.
At the World Cup would be due for hydration. Well, I don't think we need it tonight. It's a pretty chilly one compared to what it apparently is in California.
Here's Vartuli. This time plays short. Kasumovic takes it. So one thing, Simon, we spoke before the game on the change with Vivian not playing, and we thought maybe Martinello would let this go because Amalani Tatu's a chance here. And here's the player I want to talk about, and that's Mwala. Oh, he gets away with it. Here's Polly. Looks to clear. He does. Finds Kato. Tatu's pass can't find Joey Garuccio. It just gives me a chance. So we spoke that with Vivian not playing, who was going to play as that centre-back partner of Mapor. We thought maybe Martinello would drop in, but it is, as we can see, Muller playing as that centre-back.
Yes, he played as left-back last week, and I thought he did pretty well. He's a different profile to Polly. The only thing that sort of made me hesitant with Martinello and Mapor is they're the two that usually swap as Mapor comes out. So, as a pairing, I couldn't quite picture what that would look like. But you mentioned before as well, Muller got that equaliser goal late, and I thought he had a really good, especially second half as well. I think we gave Slattery a bit of a shout out for the work that he did on the left-hand side, and I think, Muller was part of that as well. So to see him get that final goal, it did seem like a bit of an appropriate ender to things for the afternoon. He's another one of those really talented young players, so when you just do see him manage to pull something off like that, it is something that you love to see.
Tatu will pick it up on the far side, right underneath that scoreboard. The One World LED in Sportal scoreboard that reads Croydon 1, Adelaide United 0. Here's Stam. Can't get himself enough room to get the ball into the box, so he goes all the way back to Cooper and Ndambuku. Here's Garuccio. Mapor aggressively comes out as he normally does.
I was wondering if Amalani Tatu was going to hit it to Stam again on that occasion, because the last time he did it, that was a cracker of a ball. I think your camera angle at home doesn't quite show the distance from there, but what a good, precise ball to find him just... You said it, Bora, he's pushing the limits of this pitch.
He is.
Swept from side to side.
Pasir John wins it on the far side for Croydon. Here's Styles getting involved, and then Martinello gives it away. Adelaide United back in possession. Cooper and Ndambuku overlapping again on the near side. picks it up. Polly's there. Stam doesn't have any accessible options forwards. It goes back to Phyllis. Stam again. The run by Motashami. Oh, he stuck a hand out, and then in the end doesn't really matter because it comes off him, goes out for a goal kick.
We were talking about the hydration break before, a little bit jokingly. I think at this point in time...
Coffee break?
Coffee break. I was going to say, I think it's probably the sort of thing that would suit Croydon at the moment, just to disrupt the momentum that Adelaide United been building. You've seen them try to switch things around, because now Passia John's found himself on the near side.
I wonder if that change from John coming onto this side might just be to counter what Adelaide United's throwing at them in terms of the way they go forward as well, because they're not overlapping as much on the left-hand side as they are on the right with Ndembuku, and Stam has been very much involved in this game just about every pass as they go forward. So maybe that is a tactical move roundabouts. Now it's halfway through the half. Here's Tatu. First touch didn't look great, but the second one got him in on goal. Bolmapore comes across, has to put it out for a corner.
There's the danger, though, of Adelaide United in relation to what you just said, though, because they overloaded the near side, and as soon as they did that, then it was Amalani Tatu, which is a pretty dangerous man to have loose on the left, and they found him on that occasion, but it was covered by Bolmapore. But yeah, I think you're probably right about that, because Passia John generally does sit a little bit deeper than Slattery, who's he's gone into the right, pretty much straight swap.
I think this is probably Adelaide United's 6th or 7th corner. They've had a fair amount of possession. Ball into the box. Comes off of a hand, but the referee says play on. Slattery through the middle, gets there. Vartuli comes out. Vartuli, he makes contact. Vartuli, did he stop him? The correct term is denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, but the referee says no, but boy, was he playing that very dangerously by sticking an arm out.
I think he probably knew he was skating the line there in that occasion, but to get away with that without conceding that foul, that's, I'd say they pulled one off there on that occasion. Adelaide United, a really difficult position to find themselves with that player just only a foot away from being completely released and getting in behind, and had a chance for a walk-in.
Well, it was Vartuli coming way out off his line that threw me off, because then when you look at the cover, Adelaide United sprinted back. They had 5 guys chasing it, but all it would have taken from Vartuli was a slip or, a bit more of an extreme push, and they probably could have been facing the deficit of a man down, but not to be.
And a little bit surprising from Vartuli as well. Specifically, we were talking before about the bit of a revolving door of players coming in and out for the youth team, and when we both saw Vartuli on the team sheet today, we're like, oh, okay, cool, because one of the more senior players among them. So yeah, to find a more seasoned keeper in that position, probably a little bit surprising, but he certainly dealt with that like a vet without giving away the foul.
Again, Stam gets involved in the build-up of the attack, and here he is again. Can he get the ball into the box? No, he can't. He gets to the top of the box. Caruccio, one way, the other. Oh, a little deflection. Magush does well, because he was about to dive to his right and then adapted nicely for the deflection.
Yeah, he had to show off a little bit of fancy footwork when he changed directions in there, but some of these slight balls in through from Adelaide United are just so impressive. That one between, I think it was Versace and Stam. It's just such a nice brand of football to watch as well, just that short passing slick game.
Phyllis gives that one away. And here's Cato. Passia John. Chance to go one-on-one with his defender and nearly sends him one way completely, but then gives him a chance to get back at him. Polly overlaps, ball into the box, but that's pretty safe keepings for Max Vartuli.
Well, Polly arrived at the right time to render a little bit of assistance. Maybe Passy John found himself in a little bit lost being on the left-hand side rather than right, and maybe that's a bit of an example of where Polly differs from Freddie Muller, who we were talking about before, just a little bit more aggressive and willing to come into that overlap.
Here's Motashami, gets in on his right foot. Motashami pulls it back and then gives it away. So both teams sort of working back very hard, but they're having to work back hard because they're getting caught out a little bit as well. But that might be something that's addressed at half-time. Phyllis just steps across the line of Kato, Cooper and Mbuku, then a great little touch inside there by Wachik. Balmapore is going to be chatted to by Daniel Cook here, because you can see the last 5 or 10 minutes, a couple of his challenges have had a little bit of excessive force, you could say. Not exactly making contact with the players, but you can see his build.
Motashami coming through, and he drew about 3 defenders in for Croydon as well, and Balmapore was one of them. It was a little bit of a weird sight to see the likes of Mapore and even Klimek as well being sort of, I don't know, taking the bait with that too. But it was a really impressive bit of play from Adelaide United as well. To your point, second half, I think it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams come out. If they do keep a similar sort of rhythm, what's going to happen late in this game too, because I don't think it's a pace they can keep up.
Well, it's safe to say we're not going to have a 5-5 draw, that's for sure. Whipped in by Garuccio. Klimek clears. Only as far as an Adelaide United shirt, though. Here's Garuccio again, another chance. Slips that one to Tatu. Tatu gets there, slips it back across. And it's going to be another corner, and I'm pretty sure they're pushing double digits for corners here, and it's only 31 minutes played in the first half on the One World LED in Sporters scoreboard. And tell you what, there's actually a fairly decent crowd that's built up tonight, considering the cold conditions we've got. There's a few people behind the goals, and here's Motashami. Clips back onto his left. Tatu, can he get a shot away? Tatu, he can. Takes a deflection, and it's another corner, Simon.
Yeah, I think going back to the point you made a moment ago, I think we're well and truly into the double digits now. They've just been piling on these corners, and so far Croydon have been managing to deny them. Just the other point as well, the crowd, nice one. I think they're probably pretty rare, the Friday night games here at Regency Park. I know they usually have the earlier fixture on the Saturdays, the 2:30 kickoff, but just in chatting to a couple of people here, they said Friday nights are usually a pretty busy time about the place. So it's good too to get the juniors out to enjoy your senior game as well. Of course, it maybe favours some families a little bit better than others.
No cooking on a Friday night, I think. Saw the club room packed with kids and parents before, which is always great to see at clubs. People supporting, or the younger kids and families supporting the club that their kids play at. It is one thing that keeps them revolving, Simon.
Well, I think as well, when the club rooms smell, like they did when we went up there in a nice smoky club room as well, suggesting that the barbie's been going and they're pumping the food out. That's something that you love to see as well.
Cooper and Mbuku again making that run forward. Polly couldn't get ahead to it, so it falls at the feet of Cooper and Mbuku. Garuccio gets into the byline, cuts it back. Magush spilt it, and then the header from Blazovic was straight back at Magush, and he probably, a yard either side probably equalises there.
He's been a very busy boy for the first 34 minutes so far, Magush.
Daniel Cook blows for a free kick, and Trimboli from up here looked like he kind of kicked out, and luckily he didn't make any contact with Kasumovic. Klimek will take the free kick. Croydon happy to maintain possession for the meantime. All the way back to Magush. Muller long for Pasir John.
been interesting watching Cooper and Buki because I've seen him come on late in a couple of games, but not start a whole lot. He's not just the haircut, very Panache Madana-esque.
He's very similar. Yeah, say that. Yes,
and it goes to your point as well, just how Adelaide United have that setup where players can just come in and out. That's a very clear example of that.
Stray ball. I just got sidetracked for a second there. I'm trying to figure out where it came from. It came from the little 7-a-side pitch around the corner, and one of the parents was not happy, and she's taken that ball and confiscated it.
You've had enough. That's mine now.
Home time.
We love a little side plot.
Certainly not home time here because we're only 35 minutes into this one. Still a long way to go. Croydon FC with that 1-0 lead. Early goal for Luca Trimboli, as we mentioned in the call. It was very father-esque. Garuccio, been one of those players for Adelaide United that's been on the ball just about every time they go forward, along with Stam and Tatu. And a few of the keys to the United unlocking the Croydon defence and earning all those corners we spoke about. Here is Garuccio again. Here's Motashami. His touch is backwards though, and then the pass is backwards to follow that. Garuccio plays it back to Motashami. Motashami gets a shot in on goal.
I was about to make the comment leading up to that Croydon seemed to be a little bit better organised in that midfield line just before defence and just denying Adelaide United as many opportunities. They were probably piling on about 10 minutes before, but basically right on cue with having that thought was when Motashami found himself leading with a little run.
Trimboli goes from halfway. Got a little bit excited there. It wasn't quite halfway, but he looked good off the boot, that's for sure.
I'm not sure if I mentioned this on air before. I think it was at the very start of the broadcast rather than before we went on air. Passia John won from halfway last time. So
that was at Cooper's, that one, wasn't it?
Service FM Stadium.
Was it Service FM? Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking back to the year before where he scored at Cooper's.
Yeah, right. So there's one even further back. He's been making a habit of it.
He actually enjoys scoring crackers against Adelaide United. So maybe we do have something to look forward to. Not that we're not enjoying ourselves. Something interesting, maybe. Oh, the run through the middle. Great step overs. It's a deflected shot. Magush has to make sure he grabs in the first time because you never know what happens when a deflection comes in. It can take an awkward bounce or do so many funny things. It was Blazovic. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. He ended up with the ball in that passage of play again. Made a little darting run through the middle. Martinello this time fouls Washik.
They seem to be keeping the danger a little bit more away, but the way things are going, I mean, since you said it before, since Croydon got the goal, Adelaide United have been really controlling things.
And I think that's something you've got to expect when you do play Adelaide United. You know they're going to have most of the time lion's share of the possession. It's how you counter that when you've got the ball, I suppose. Like this, for instance, Vartuli comes off his line. That time a little bit more clear-cut than the first time he did that. Trimboli wins it back, though. And Mbuki was the one that he won it from. Right in front of Joe Janko, photographer Joe Janko, that is, who pre-game asked for a heater to be brought down to the sideline because he was that cold. Funny old man Joe Janko. Known him for a long time. Styles. Slattery, who's on that right-hand side now, gets into the box, gets to the byline, cuts it back. Oh, it's an own goal. Oh! How do you if that goes in, how do you explain what just happened? Because Cato's missed an open net. He's kicked it off target. Vartuli's turned to resurrect himself in his positioning, and then he's almost put it in his own net. That's pretty much what happened.
There's times in commentary where you sort of wish you just had a reverse angle just so you can try digest what you've just seen. That was all sorts of craziness there, but not completely out of danger yet. I see you pulling up the replay there.
I think the easiest way to... we'll wait for this corner, because it's Cato to take for Croydon. They've only had probably, maybe, this might even only be their second one. Daniel Cook just not happy with something happening in the box. So he stops Cato, having a chat just about to everyone, because everyone's almost in the box.
There's a lot of red in there, isn't there?
It's delivered on top of Vartuli's head. He takes it safely. So what I was going to say was, the easiest way to say that was, Max Vartuli made a save he didn't have to make, because Cato's shot was that far off target. Vartuli was just happened to be standing there. Tatu goes to ground again.
Very interested to see what happens at half-time with this, because going back to a point you made a little bit earlier as well, you know what Adelaide United are going to bring, so it's up to the other team to respond, and I will be curious to see how Croydon do respond just to take this momentum away from it.
And I've just had a look at the replay, Simon, and I'm very happy to say that the way I explained that is exactly what happened. Vartuli literally made a save he didn't have to make because it was nowhere near going in the net. But anyways, we play on. Cooper and Dembuki. Stam runs at Polly. Gets to the byline, clips it in. No deflection that time, goal kick. So Liam Stam, the younger brother of Riley.
They played a couple of weeks ago when Adelaide United met West Adelaide at Kilburn, and I saw their dad in the crowd as well, and he said it was a bit of a stampede, which I thought was very clever.
It's here again tonight as well, watching. Magush goes long into the last few minutes of normal time of this first half. One that sees Croydon FC with the 1-0 advantage, but safe to say Adelaide United have had most of the possession, most of the attacking play. But it's little moments like what we almost just saw there, where Adelaide United turn it over quite cheaply and sort of allow Croydon possession high up the park, and they don't really want to be doing that too many times, because you saw them make them pay once. And Dembuki, Garuccio making the run forward again. Stam does the same, clips it to the back post. He's there, and Lani Tatu. Magush has to make the save. On the turn was Motsashami. Daniel Magush, I'll tell you what, he's probably been best on ground so far, because he's pulled off, that's his fourth real good save.
Yeah,
and he's keeping the scoreline as it is. He's not too happy at all.
He's a very intense individual. I remember even in pre-season there was a couple of games where they rotated keepers out, and even when he came off to the bench, because it was planned to have keeper rotations while you're getting everyone match fit, but he wasn't treating it like it was a pre-season match at all. He was completely locked in, and almost pissed off that he was dragged. We mentioned the change with Slattery and Passir John switching sides. I think that's one that's probably worked out not to completely favour Croydon, because they haven't nullified that threat, but I think it has slowed down United a little bit.
Stam again for United. Onto the left foot, Stam has a go. Oh gosh, safely gathers that one. Phyllis brings that one down. Tatu with the fancy flick. Garuccio it is. Now it's with Croydon FC. Under the pressure there was Styles, went all the way back to his keeper, who just goes long, and again Cato wins it in the air, but United come away with it. And Lani Tatu, one way or the other, skips past again, and on his way to almost creating another chance. Here's Versace. Stam's gone to the other side. Shot on goal. Tatu! And that one caught me off guard there because Stam had switched to the other side whilst Tatu was over here, and then I think it was one of those ones where it almost becomes more dangerous than actually having a shot, is the one where you clip it into the area. Not so much with pace, but with a little bit of curl on it. And Magush had to make another save. Motoshami was there almost getting a flick on, and then Tatu with the... Well, it ended up being an acrobatic strike, but didn't trouble Magush the second time round.
Yeah, that's one that'd be interesting to see back because there was almost a little bit of hesitation from Tatu before he hit it. Then he did a bit of an awkward twist to get to it. So I think from the angle that we're watching it at, probably maybe a little bit more of a complicated ball than it first seemed from here.
That's the third time now that Trimboli, well, the second time he's successfully done it, but he's just held his defender at bay, brought the ball down and created a half opportunity for Croydon. So he's getting the better of somewhat the smaller statured players. Magush in no hurry to play this one forward. And there will be no additional time. Bang on the 45, I believe. No, sorry, there was 1 minute. I missed that one. Because the moment ago we were talking about there being a few minutes left, and that 5 minutes went real quick.
Snuck up on us. So it indicates it's been a pretty exciting half, I think.
For a 0-0, or for a 1-0 game, it's been end-to-end in occasions, and Croydon happy to sit on that 1-0 lead and absorb all that pressure that Adelaide United threw at them. I think it's Harvey Lopez. No, it's not Harvey. I thought it was. Not too sure, but he wasn't too happy there. I think they want some sort of asking for some sort of explanation from the referee. Not too sure, because I think Daniel Cook's had a pretty good first half, as have most of the players, Simon. But at half-time, it's Croydon FC 1, Adelaide United 0. Luca Trimboli opened the scoring for Croydon FC, I should say. But as you can see on the stats on your screen, it says Croydon shots 8, but Adelaide United with those 12, and there's no corner stats on there, but I'm fairly sure Adelaide United had at least 10, and not quite able to make Croydon pay. So interesting first half, Simon.
Going to be interested to see the adjustments that Croydon make as well. I think the ball's sort of in their court there to respond, because Adelaide United will be probably quite content with
For over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. We're committed to quality, affordability and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price turnkey. It's gotta be HPG. HPG Homes.
At Service FM, we know every workplace is different. Every challenge is unique. That's why we personalise our services to our customers' different needs across different industries. From medical to mining and manufacturing, hospitality to healthcare, commercial to defence. So when you need to create a better work environment, you need Service FM. Proud partner with Football South Australia.
if it was any type of, he should have just gone down.
Vidic. Oh, wow!
Could that be the goal?
West Adelaide go 5-4 up.
Finish it off. Ryan girls it in! Oh, got up so Daniel Ryan! Been brilliant since he's come on.
Raj aware of it. Floats it in. Mindful. Deals with it. Opportunity here. Bicycle kick for. And it's a goal!
It's a goal. That's a cracker.
Harrison Rogers.
I just want to make an impact.
Hop in.
Where are we going?
There are so many career paths with SAPOL, from operations to CSI. You could walk the beat or work somewhere a little quieter. If you want to make a difference, there's a career at SAPOL for you.
Hey, it's going to be all right.
Call up the search.
Find where you belong in blue. Search SAPOL Careers.
I think the people involved, you get to meet a lot of people in football, and that's just one of the great things. Not only is the sport great, but the people involved. So fellow referees, players, coaches, even fans. I love officiating because it keeps me involved in football. I was a player, but I don't reckon I could cut it out there anymore, at least at any decent level. But as a referee, I get to be involved in high levels of football. Keeps me involved, keeps me fit, and is great fun. I think I have a moment of this is why I do this every week. It's always good fun to get out there, and there are tough moments, but being resilient and succeeding, even just in the little things throughout a match. I think embracing challenges is such an important skill to learn, and as a referee you surely come across a lot of them, and I certainly have. I reckon give it a go. You will face challenges, but that's a part of it, and I think embracing challenges is such an important skill to learn.
For over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. We're committed to quality, affordability and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price, turnkey. It's gotta be HPG. HPG Homes.
Adelaide wakes up with 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings. Tom Wren for sport. Jay Drobran on the scene as it happens. Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide. Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local, and only on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
So the Youth Club Championship, we've designed a structure where the under 13s, under 14s, under 15s and 16s all compete together as one club. They'll play at the same venue, they'll play one after each other. It allows the technical director to be at the venue to help educate and look after the coaches, and also there's a focus on player development.
Players are now knowing where they are at and the pathway to follow each year. If they continue with the YCC, they should be in a position where they can go into senior football. It's a lot clearer around the steps they need to take to keep tracking as a player.
We've created an additional YCC training session or seminar night. All the players involved had the opportunity to do an extra additional skills session development plan, and we had Adrian Stanter coming in to talk about how to become a more professional player from a younger age.
The fact that as a club we are investing heavily in the juniors to ensure that we're putting those tools in place that the YCC is wanting from us, that's certainly bringing around some benefits to the club and to junior development across the board.
Everyone's trying to obtain points for their club, but also with a strong focus on how do we create a competition where players can play against like players.
The one thing I have noticed is it's been a bit more focused on getting the balance right. So, you know, trying to keep the best teams playing against each other throughout the entire year and not having this big disparity between one team or another, one club or another.
So what it has allowed us to do is have quality games every week, which has benefited the competition and given the girls a chance to sort of understand what it's like to play at that elite level. While development is a good focus, the YCC does bring out the aspect of results as well, which helps find that balance for players to transition to senior football.
So I think with the YCC structure now in place, there's become a better level, and with a better level there's been higher intensity within our sessions, and that's allowed for greater development in terms of a player technically, tactically, and that's given them the best chance to keep improving their game.
Yeah, look, I think there's certainly brought around a lot of excitement to the club on YCC Day. The club's buzzing, a lot of the parents and players really enjoy seeing the kids play, and what is really now an elite pathway in junior football in our state.
Something that resonated with me right on the onset was about connecting a budding footballer with the right coach with the right club, and the right club being part of the right football environment. So the YCC tells me that this has been a fantastic implementation by Football South Australia.
just before the second half kicks off. A big shout out to our Ladies' Day fundraiser that is coming up on Saturday, the 25th of July. Your QR code is online, so head over to our website, check out our social media, buy a ticket, support our club for a fantastic fundraiser. It is all day long. Game entry tickets, welcome drinks, there's a blazing table, 3 tickets all day, and of course the players are hosting our bingo night later in the evening. A great day for all mums, sisters, daughters, all the ladies to come along. We can celebrate the women at our fantastic club. So make sure you head over to our website, scan the QR codes, we've got them around the club as well, and support our fantastic club with a lovely Ladies' Day fundraiser.
Welcome back for the second half here at Regency Park, home of the Croydon FC. Reigning champions, as we mentioned. And Simon, that first half they were kind of clinging on to life at times, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they'll probably be very glad they had that 1-0 gap already after Adelaide United was starting to lay it on against them. I think, we said it towards the end of the first half there. It's up to them to respond a little bit now to just stop this flow of Adelaide United.
It's almost like it's a matter of time, though, isn't it? Adelaide United with so much attacking prowess, having 4 or 5 more attacking opportunities in that first half, especially on goal. Magush had to produce at least 4 to 5 really good saves as well to keep the scoreline as it was. And just from kick-off there, Croydon come out with a little bit more of an attacking flair and a little bit more physicality by the looks. Maybe in a message from the coaching staff at half-time. But here on Adelaide United, Caruccio makes the run. Couldn't find him. Now it's Slattery who has moved back to the left-hand side. Trimboli and Kasumovic goes to Vartuli. Vartuli's got Versace there. Pasir John was closing, but not close enough to put him under too much pressure. In the end, it goes back to Vartuli, back to Phyllis, and Adelaide United in possession again. Tartu with the fancy flick around the corner, didn't quite come off. Magush now goes long. The header's one in the air by Kasumovic. Polly in turn headers it back the other way. Through the middle of the park now is Cato. And again, Cato making the forward run. Trimboli's there. So is Phyllis, though. A little bit too easy there for Adelaide United to get out of defence. They just, take a couple of steps forward, release the pressure, and then they are able to pass their way out in the end. Daniel Washik's really anchored that midfield for Adelaide United, hasn't he? Most of the night. Here's Tartu, though. Looks to cut in on that right hand side on the right foot. Again, Tartu. Gets past Klimek, cuts it across. I reckon Paul may have just got a toe in there to deflect it away from danger. Polly goes long.
Well, it's a pretty quick start to the half. The last 2.5 minutes have been going pretty rapidly, but yeah, you mentioned there Wojciech anchoring the midfield and just the way that they've switched up the way they attack, and I guess it's all originated from him. As for Croydon, it seems like the instruction early seems to be for both Slattery and John to just provide a little bit more defensive support. They're sort of cutting in just inside well, in that case it was John inside the left back in Luke Klimek, but also as well we saw that early foul that Ned Stiles gave away as well, so I'd imagine maybe a little bit of instruction there just to make sure those, well, I guess dual pivots at the moment between him and Martinelli just being a little bit more assertive.
And Croydon pinch it here. Chance to go forward on the counter. Cato plays it in the path of Pasir John. Kasumovic will be caught out of position here. He's sort of come across as that fullback position. Pasir John gets it back. Klimek overlaps. Klimek clips it in. Martinello's there. So is Trimboli. Does the flag go up? No, it doesn't. Trimboli's got a double. Croydon FC 2. Adelaide United 0.
Well, their attacking opportunities have been few and far between, but they've got the job done early in the second half as they did in the first. And I was thinking in the lead-up, we haven't seen a whole lot of Lukas Klimek coming in to provide attacking support, and when he did, they scored.
Well, funny you should say that, because before that I was going to say Adam Martinelli hasn't had too much to do, or hasn't had too much impact, and he was the one that actually got into the box as well and nearly got the touch, but in the end it's Klimek crossing and Trimboli finishing. So, as we saw in the first half, Simon, I reckon bang on 4 minutes there. I reckon that's when they scored in the first half too. They didn't have much before, didn't have much after. They've done it again, and now they've got a 2-0 lead.
Well, we spoke a lot about how they're going to have to respond to Adelaide United, but now that they've got the goal, they're sort of going to force Adelaide United to respond, and in turn they may have to open things up a little bit to try and go after this. So I think overall, by getting that result with the actual goal, I think they've shifted the shifted that burden back to Adelaide United.
So Luca Trimboli with his 7th goal of the season now. Slowly making his way to the top of the charts. I think himself and Pasir John were, I think that may have been tied last year for the Golden Boot at Croydon. I'm not too sure. It wasn't very close, but
Pasir John.
Well, he might have a chance here. Kasumovic gets away with it.
I was going to say Pasir John might have been in the mix with that as well.
Very close, yeah. Because Trimboli had a real good patch towards the back end of last season where he was scoring for fun. Pasir John had that really good patch at the start of the season, so as I mentioned earlier on, Pasir John hasn't had that impact this season, only the 3 goals for him, but here goes Tatu, gets to the byline. It's a physical challenge by Bolmapour, and Bolmapour turns around to those Adelaide United fans and says, hey, look at me.
He sort of leered over him for a moment, didn't he, there? He's such an imposing figure, Bolmapour, isn't he? Just, you mentioned it before, even with the aggression, which he, especially when he comes up forward for attacking support.
Kasumovic's header off target. Mapour all clear. All the way back to Vartuli. Vartuli goes on the right foot, only as far as Martinello. Martinello finds Slattery. Croydon look to get forward again, looking for number 3. Slattery can't get it across. He's got Martinello there. He uses him now. Martinello goes all the way back to Muller. Martinello, Slattery, Muller, all in and abouts in that little triangle there. Phyllis looked for Tatu, seeing that he was isolated in a one-on-one with Klimek, couldn't find him. Here is Tatu again through the middle of the park. He's got options aplenty. One way, the other. In the end, they settle just to go back. It's Versace. Finds Garuccio. Finds Cooper and Ndambuki. Finds Stam. Overlapping is Garuccio. Can he get it into the box? He can, but only as far as Styles for Croydon, who clears to safety. Here's Ndambuki again. Kasumovic with a little bit of space. Stromboli closes slowly. Now it's turned over. Pasir John. I don't think Versace's got the pace to keep up with him, so Pasir John will be away down this near flank. Cuts inside. Still John. Gets into the box. Still Pasir John. Has a go! And yes, he does. Vatuli had to make the save, so a corner, but just like that, Simon. Pasir John.
That was a brilliant run for him, wasn't it? Almost seemed like a bit of a, here, watch this sort of moment against Versace as well, the way he broke away and just showed his pace, and then that beautiful little touch to send him one way and just be able to just open up that space in his wake and get the shot off. That was really impressive.
Well, he had the acreage in front of him to go, and he did that, but then he sort of let Versace come back in and get goal side of him, and then just went bang, flick inside and created that chance for himself. Styles will deliver this one. He'll be swung in. It's to the back post. Vatuli. Oh, Vatuli gets a hand to it. Might have even come off the crossbar.
I think it was Vatuli's hand, but it did dip in a lot at the last minute. Just going to that Pasir John run a moment ago. I think that was something that he really enjoyed, to be honest.
Petrie would have really enjoyed if it went to the back of the net as well. Styles goes long. Versace headers safely down. It was pretty well done by the young left fullback there. Vatuli looks long for Tatu. Klimek makes initial contact and then wins the ball. Martinello. Cato. Back to Martinello. Phyllis comes in solidly. Ends up with Montashami. Tatu. Versace's ball inside. Doesn't find anybody in a red shirt. Instead it finds Magush, who's not too happy with the contact there from Montashami.
Trying to get the last word in.
Ndambuki did well to get to it before the bounce. Muller goes long over the top of Ndambuki. Slattery's there. Slattery's got pace if he can get goal side. Can't quite do it that time round. Phyllis does well. Comes across and helps out his fullback. Oh, that's a dangerous pass. Vatuli with a touch. Vatuli then with the grass cutter. Fortunately, won't be cutting any grass here because there is none. Here's Tatu. He's checked by Klimek. Play's allowed to go on. Still Tatu. And then he's fouled by Mapor. And Mapor really walking that tightrope. Had the little chat in the first half by Cook. Through the middle of the park is Washik. Now it's Stam. One way, the other way, back to his right hand side and cuts back again. Might have just overdone it now, Stam. And turns out he has. The second time he looked up, he had two Croydon players there defending him. Croydon have sort of had the better of Adelaide. To get back in this.
And I think maybe it's a little bit... Sometimes we have to remember just how young some of these Adelaide United youth players are, because I think maybe it is a little bit of a maturity thing as well and disciplinary thing, because I think they were probably given themselves better chances before they started to go after it and just just players slipping out of position now and having to sort of go after it, but the disciplined approach seemed to yield a lot of opportunities, even though they didn't come off initially. Well, in the early stages of this game, I should say.
Here's Yuya Kato. Gets past Phyllis. Phyllis doesn't look like he's got the pace to go with him, so Kato plays it into the path of Slattery. Trimboli on a hat-trick is in the box. That one's not going to find him that time. Versace will pick it up. Pasia John was a little bit too far away as well. Now it's Washik finds Blazovic.
Made the comment as well in the first half, just talking about how as this game goes a little bit deeper, whether that pace can be maintained, and that probably pertained more to Adelaide United, I think, just with the urgency they were showing earlier on and just the quickness at which they were moving, and it definitely seems at this particular moment like they've slowed down.
Yeah, well, Croydon have just done really well to nullify Styles! Wow! First time volley. Pick that one out, Max Vartuli, he says.
Goal scorer for Croydon FC. Number 14, Red Styles.
And unfortunately, if you're watching that, you may have just missed an absolute perler because the vision, unfortunately, wasn't there and then came back as the ball hit the back of the net. So you're going to have to wait for the goals wrap during the week to see that one.
Well, luckily, it was a pretty epic celebration because it gave it. And I regret to say as well,
he wanted 6 points for it apparently because he wants the football celebration. He went. That's actually that celebration we've seen before because I think Matthew Dorber's done that before at Adelaide City. So he might have copyright on that celebration. But there are those changes, Simon. You might need to have a look. We got. Well, in the midst of talking about the goal and the celebration, we've missed the substitution.
I actually missed the goal by trying to tell you a little bit about the player wearing the number 83 in Mitch Knight. So I think he may be a NPL debutant as well. He's been playing mostly with the reserves. Looks like he was on the bench but unused against West Adelaide a few weeks ago. And the other player that has just come on is Fabian Grelli.
So 75 is Grelli, 83 is Knight. Going off.
Can't believe I missed the goal. Was it good?
Yes, it was. It was very good. And then we both kind of had our heads on the stat sheets for a second, and then that just happened. So, apologies. Here's Tatu. Grelli. Turns it over again. Klimek. Pasir Johns on his bike, ready to run. Tatu gets the ball and off he goes. Martinello comes across. Pasir John's got to defend. Pasir John may just have to settle for fouling Tatu. He does very well. He doesn't have to foul him. Blazovic. Here's Tatu. One way, the other. Tatu. Still Tatu. Still Tatu. Now it's Stam. Mochishami made the forward run. Polly gets a foot in. So the couple of players that have gone off, Phyllis is one of them. That's a very big surprise, unless there's an injury concern there, because I believe he is the captain of this NPL team. So centre-back went off, which is where Knight comes and slips in right now as he's on the ball. The other one that has gone off is Warchich. Number 63, that is. So the changes have been rung.
Well, you mentioned before, Warchich's been quite solid, but he's not a name that I've seen in the NPL side consistently. So maybe he's trying to have a look at some other players and playing with this late stage. I mean,
well, I guess the other thing is that those players were ready before the third goal went in. So
true.
You can't really say it's because of that. Well, you could say it's scoreline because it was 2-0 already, but 3-0 making those changes, and with Phyllis coming off was very interesting. So that's an interesting one to see if he is injured or not. Corner for Adelaide United though. Klimek gets the header at the near post. Slattery happy to hoof it clear.
I believe Adelaide United have some practice fixtures coming up as well, so possibly that's a little bit of a plan. I can't even tell you the date of the next one coming up, but I wonder if players like Satiri Phyllis, who are maybe on the periphery of the A-League side, are going to be featuring in that. I'd imagine that he would, someone like him.
Turned over again by Adelaide United. Vartuli with the ball. Kasimovic goes long looking for Tatu, but Klimek wins it. Oh, Bomapur looked for his captain but couldn't find him. Still with Tatu though. Overlapping is Versace. His cross can't beat the first man. Blazovic. Pasir John puts a challenge in. He might have won the ball and he might even won a goal kick. He has. We're just mentioning a couple of players, Simon. Obviously, the ones that have come off, but there's also a couple of players missing for Adelaide United tonight through suspension as well. That's Mbula Monga and Nasiri, who was sent off last week, I believe, or maybe the week before. So I think there's a couple of suspensions that are overlapping into tonight's game. I'm not exactly sure. I'm pretty sure Nasiri was sent off last week.
I try to get you confirmation on that, but last time I buried my head in the stats sheet, I missed the goal. So I will try to get you a bit of an answer on those ones in a moment.
I think I am pretty 99% sure I'm correct on that. In the 1-1 draw with Comets last week. It's interesting, we've got a stoppage in play here, and I've been wanting to pull this stat out all night, but I haven't had a chance. So, Croydon, obviously, 5-5 last week, which is, every time you think and talk about that, it's just crazy to think that kind of result. But they had 5 individual goal scorers. They also scored 5 in round 12 against Para Hills, 5 individual goal scorers. The thing that would have been really freaky is if they were all the same 5 individual goal scorers on both occasions, but they weren't. 4 of them were, though. 4 of them were the same goal scorers. Trimboli, Slattery, Caddo, Mapor, and Muller.
Muller and Mapor, the multiple goal scorers?
No, they weren't. So they scored they were one of the individual goal scorers last week.
Yep.
But the first time they scored 5 was in the 5-1 win against Para Hills.
Yep.
Cato, Trimboli, Slattery, and Muller. The only different one was Nathan Owan, who's about to come on the park right now, was the goal scorer in the Para Hills game.
That's
while
right.
Mapor was the goal scorer last week. So that's a fair effort, though, to have 5 different goal scorers twice and 4 of them are the same.
And I do recall that Para Hills game. I was actually on that one. It was in horrible weather on a really rough pitch as well, and so it wasn't an easy
Was that
scoring.
the scaffold incident where no one wanted to go up on the scaffold day? Is that one?
We're not going to talk about that, but I can say it was a very difficult afternoon out at Para Hills.
So Luca Trimboli and Adam Martinello have come off. Oliver Trimboli has come on, as has Nathan Owan, who we were just talking about, the goal scorer in that Para Hills game. Nathan Owan, still quite a young player. Actually coached him for a few seasons when I was at Adelaide Olympic doing the juniors, and then he made his way into the 18s and reserves system there under Dominic Mushy for a few seasons. He's been quite resilient this year. Told by a couple of clubs he's not good enough. So I find that quite bizarre when you're good enough to get a position in the reigning champions team. That's one way you can look at it. But yeah, still trying to find his feet and get that break into the starting lineup here, but gets an opportunity again tonight with some minutes left on the board.
I think he has had at least one start. It may have been against Para Hills, but he's definitely had a few appearances so far.
I think I could start against Para Hills, Simon.
Just to go back as well, you mentioned the suspensions as well, so I've just got some clarity to give you around that. So yes, Sajad Nasiri was sent off in that game, and Izzy Monga just with another yellow.
Here's Tatu, goes near post. Sorry to cut you off there, he's in an offside position anyways. So no, my 99% correctness was right.
You proved correct.
Well, it's about time we got something right. We mentioned the output of a few players, Simon. Obviously, Yuya Kato's got the 8 goals for Croydon. Trimboli with a double tonight went to 7. And then there's a little bit of a gap between the goal scorers for Croydon as we see the overlap here. Back post delivery. Vartuli comes, he misses, and there's going to be a... Oh, no! It was going to be a tap-in for Oliver Trimboli. He's rattled it off the crossbar, and that was just a calamity of errors there, wasn't it? Vartuli come, he missed it, then deflected off his own player.
He's maybe even rattled himself in response to that. He'll be absolutely kicking himself for missing that one. He's just,
no dinner for him tonight.
Yeah, well, look, Lishkumak's just gone and give him a bit of pat on the head and say, chin up. It's his, and I believe that's Slattery as well. That's just also gone to just, give him a bit of reassurance as well, because, he'll absolutely be kicking himself, but, still got to see this game out yet, so hopefully he can get his name on the score sheet to make up for that one.
Well, it's a free kick. It's Caddo. He strikes it on goal, Caddo, and that's a pretty decent save by Vartuli. He hasn't had the best of nights, Max Vartuli, but he managed to get down, save that one, and keep the scoreline at 3-0 on the One World LED and Sportal scoreboard. One thing we haven't really spoken about tonight, Simon, is the Cup final coming up. Not too far away now. We've got Cumberland United of State League 1 up against FK Beograd of the NPL, and both those teams will be competing in the Australia Cup as well. We'll get back to that in a minute. Delivery is on top of Vartuli's head. He does well to punch that one away. Mapor and Owan both get there at the same time. Owan does very, very well. Forces Tautu to barricade that over the line and ended up in the fence himself. So hasn't quite been their night, Simon. We've notified that on a few occasions, but just as this second half goes by, you mentioned the younger players of Adelaide United, and it seems like that the confidence level of them is just slowly running away from them, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a theme at times for them. There's occasions where they're just so confident, but when the things don't go their way, they fall away. But they've absolutely got talent and skill on their side, Adelaide United. But it's just the maturity that sometimes gives these teams that they face the edge against them.
Just noticed that Adelaide United made another change, probably amongst some of the nonsense we've been talking about. But it's Chris Irakosi who's come on, and it looks like, is it Motashami that's gone off? I think it is.
Yeah, he was at the front before. I thought he started the game very well in the first half. He had some real opportunities, but it's been a pretty quiet second for him.
Yeah, Croydon FC just taking over as this game prolongs. Yeah, he made some really good runs in behind in the first 60-odd minutes he was on the park, Motashami, and he looked really dangerous. But like we just mentioned, the confidence level of these United players has dropped immensely, especially this second half. And Croydon just sort of bullying him out of this one the scoreline. If the possession stakes had stayed like they were in the first half, the scoreline would have been really flattering, but Croydon really coming to terms and taking control as this one gets now into the final 15 minutes.
And like we said earlier too, things were going so well for them in the first half too. So although they did find themselves 2-0 down, it's... Croydon did adjust coming out for the second half as well, so it's not like Adelaide United had free rein to control things as they wanted to, but had they had maybe the discipline to keep going, probably would have been a better chance to respond than after they did start getting a little bit more desperate, a little bit hungry for catching up.
Yes, football is a funny game, and it works in a multitude of ways. Blazovic, solid challenge by Styles, goes to ground, wins the free kick. Yeah, so what this does, Simon, for the league table is that both teams were locked on 21 points. Like we mentioned, the goal difference of only 2 and 1. Croydon FC had the 2, Adelaide United had the 1. Pull one back or any back, they're going to lose that 3 goals. So they'll end up on -2 and Croydon will be on +5. So then it goes to a 7 difference in the goals.
I'm glad you brought that up, because this is actually this could be a very ladder-defining victory.
Tatu's going to have something to say about that on this free kick. Goes low. Well saved by Magush. And I think I even probably mentioned this last week in the game with most teams that play each other at the back end of the season, they're playing for similar positions, and the goal difference is going to come into play on a lot of games, I think.
Well, I mentioned at the start that Croydon have only just broken into that top 6, but with 3 points tonight, yeah, they'll in 3 clear of Adelaide United Youth. Sturt Lions are in 8th position at the moment. And with West Adelaide and Campbelltown trailing a bit, this really could be a sort of result that by the end of the season will secure their position, if that makes sense. It really is a big result.
Ball into the box. Finds Tatu. Not in a goal-scoring position. Klimek does very well. Klimek's had quite a good game. Oh, and Tatu's left one in there. Referee is going to have to get involved here because Klimek's not happy with the treatment he's received from Tatu. And that is just pure frustration creeping in. Magush gets involved as well.
I said before, he's an intense individual.
There is a couple of other games, Simon, tonight in the RAA NPL. This one is the earliest of them, so this one we're obviously into the last 10 minutes very shortly, but West Orange McCullough at home. They are 2-1 up against Sturt Lions, so they will maintain a hold on first position if they can get that win tonight. Sturt Lions, you just mentioned, in 8th position. That'll be a big loss for them if they can't get a result, given that United are losing here. And the other game, which is nearly at half-time, is Adelaide Comets at home to Adelaide City. So 3 games tonight in the NPL. Magush gets play restarted with a free kick here. Versace has to head that one clear from John. There is one State League 1 game on tonight as well, and that is Eastern United currently trailing the Cup finalists Cumberland United. And we saw those draws come out during the week. Simon, what did you make of the Australia Cup draws for all 3 of the teams from South Australia? Obviously, Cumberland have got their work cut out for them with Heidelberg. Sorry. Is there another goal here? Deflection took the sting out of it.
Yeah, no, sorry, I did hear the question. I was just watching that play out. Yeah, I mean, for Cumberland, that's going to be a really tough test, Heidelberg's a tough test for anyone, but for a State League 1 team to go up against them, that's going to be really tough. Nonetheless, I'm sure they'll, try to bring as much of a challenge, and, everyone dreams of getting that cup set, so that's exactly what they'll set their sights on. For FK Beergrad, is it the North Sunshine Eagles? Have I got that correct?
You're pretty close. Just let this one play out. Croydon again defends so well, and Styles comes away with it. So the team that they're playing, I believe, is an Albanian background. I'm just trying to get the actual name of them because I don't want to sound like a fool.
I think just while you do find that, one thing that I do find, one thing that I'm really excited for is that both of these teams get to host those sides at home, for it to be a genuine home match for those as well. So Cumberland will host Heidelberg at Ladyborough Brewhouse Stadium. If the FK Beergrad, it'll be at Frank Mitchell.
It is North Sunshine Eagles Football Club, so you're bang on there, Simon.
Yeah, so they're going to be great ties. I'm really excited to see them. And FK Beergrad are just coming into some really good form at the moment. The fact that they beat West Torrens Bacala to get in to that Federation Cup final, and then backed it up with another win against West Torrens Bacala just a few days later when they faced him in the RAA NPLSA round 15 fixture it was. They'll be enjoying so much confidence on the back of that as well. So, yeah, really excited to see them test themselves against a couple of really tough Victorian teams. But, yeah, FK Beergrad will absolutely go in as the favourite, but Cumberland have pulled a couple of upsets en route to the Federation Cup final too. So we'll see if they can make the dream come true.
Adelaide United still unable just to get into any dangerous positions this second half. Here's Yuya Kato. He's got Pasir John making the run. Pasir John in an offside position. Can he get there and keep this one in? No, he can't. It's going to be a goal kick.
I think he did stay just onside. It was sort of the benefit of a decent angle just as he came across. I think it was the far defender that just kept him on, but it looked a little bit precarious in the lead up, but I think overall he measured it all right, but the finish not there.
So whilst that play went out for a goal kick, there's another substitution made down on the far side. Going off was Liam Stam. The player coming on, I've lost track of. Kasper Kuzman, number 84. So Adelaide United emptying the bench for this final stanza of this one. Here he is, Kuzman. Happy to let that go out for a goal kick. Sorry, no, corner. But just, yeah, those ties, obviously we've got our cup final in, I think, 2 weeks' time. And then those games on the 21st of July will be Cumberland versus Heidelberg here in Adelaide. And then to mention the powerhouse team of South Australia, which is obviously Adelaide United, they have to travel to play South Melbourne. That is going to be some road trip, because that brings back big memories for South Australian football fans, because there was a penalty shootout in the NSL between those two teams a little while ago now. It was the first season of the way Adelaide United was formed back in the day, and I was actually a ball boy that day.
Oh, right. Was that the final match for South Melbourne?
Yes, it was. Then they became the Melbourne Victory after that, and then obviously the Melbourne City franchise and Western United franchises brought into the Football Victoria A-League ranks. But yes, interesting enough, it's funny because I think I was like 12 years old, and those South Melbourne fans back then, goodness me.
Well, we saw during the Australian Championship as well, they still got such a strong following in the fact that they were back on the national stage. But I guess Heidelberg was a similar story as well. So, they might be a team that has some travelling fans when they travel here to play against Cumberland as well. I think that's an interesting one, because I think it probably means more for South Melbourne than it does for Adelaide United, to be completely fair. But I think it's still going to make for much-watch viewing.
Tartu clips that to the back post, no one there. So, yeah, just to recap those games. Beergrad, 15th of July, they play North Sunshine Eagles. Cumberland on the 21st of July play Heidelberg, and South Melbourne versus Adelaide United on the 30th of July. So the good part about that is we get to watch all those games without them interfering with each other, all on different weekends. Or weeknights, whenever it might be.
Yep.
We also have Asian Champions League football coming back to South Australia for the first time in a while. Adelaide United have that playoff game against one Stefan Mork's team, who he officially signed for not too long ago. That'll be spicy, because we all know Stefan Mork is the kind of guy that will be your mate off the park, but as soon as he steps over that white line, he's got that white line fever, and if every player had that, boy, we'd have some real good battles out on the parks. So that'll be an interesting one. Adelaide United, obviously, if they win that, they'll be in the Asian Champions League elite competition, I believe. If they lose, they'll be in the if you compare it to overseas, it's sort of like the Conference League and the Europa League. So hopefully they can get the job done there. And
from a monetary perspective as well, there's just some serious dollars on the line too once you do take part in the Asian competition, which is pretty big considering the state we're at the moment with A-League.
Interesting to see what happens with a couple of these rumours while we're talking about that. Obviously, Adelaide United have a lot of young, good products here in South Australia, and the latest one is that Luka Jovanovic has been offered money to go overseas, somewhere between $1 to $2 million for the transfer. That would be a big loss for the equal Golden Boot winner from this A-League season. The other one that still is talked about, and not too sure if it will happen, but that's the one of Paniotis Kikianis. Also, not sure if he was forced to stay in Adelaide this season with his deal not going through, but definitely had a couple of good seasons to warrant the interest overseas, as has Luka Jovanovic.
It's probably a good segue to talk about a couple of players that featured for the Socceroos both today and over recent weeks as well. And one thing that I was really excited to see doing the rounds online as well was Mo Touré's recent visit to Croydon when he was last back in Australia. It was really. I actually saw a piece on YouTube where they featured his visit to this ground, Regency Park, which was awesome. Then, of course, Nestori Irinkunda, he played with the Young Reds, then down the road at Adelaide Croatia Raiders as well. Tete Yengi, his late appearance today, also involved. He was with Croydon for a spell, I believe, as a junior.
Yes. And then with Adelaide Comets. But you know what? We'll let this one go. I think that ball's gone out. It has its goal kick. We're nearly into the 90. We are in the 90th minute, sorry. I just thought that was an 8. Yes, it is. 89, nearly ticking over 90. So, I think the obviously with the World Cup on, everyone's watching so much football at the moment. But if you listen to the commentary of Max Bashir today, and he gave South Australia a really good plug at some stage, and nothing better than being a South Australian when you hear that, especially when you see the quality that's come and playing at the World Cup. There was obviously the Nestori Irinkunda moment in the Turkey game. Yengi obviously debuting and scoring in that warm-up game against Switzerland. All that's missing is a Mo Touré goal, hopefully, in the next game. That would cap off what's been a really... You've got to say it's a success when you get out of the group stage, especially with the group stages that Australia's had in the past few seasons. It's been the groups of death, you could say. As Bartuli comes out and clears that one for Adelaide United. Tatu, he's kept that in there. Now that was definitely still in, but he's given it away cheaply. Pasir John onside. Croydon looking for a fourth, just to put the icing on the cake here. Looks for Klimek. Klimek in the box. Pasir John couldn't find him. Styles slides, doesn't win the ball, but didn't quite make contact with the player, so referee says play on. Mbuki finds Kuzman, who finds Tatu. Can Tatu pull one back for Adelaide United? Gets into the box. Still Tatu. Tatu goes low. It's blocked. And Croydon defending so well this second half. Oh, still, and that is just really good defending, and that shows what it means for this Croydon team. 3-0 up, still throwing absolutely everything at it. Oliver Trimboli, can he get on the score sheet? Still Trimboli. Oh, he had the run of Kato, couldn't find him. Kasimovic comes away with it. So into the third minute of added time coming up.
We're talking a little bit about Socceroos. There's another player that's represented Australia in recent weeks in one of the youth competitions in Amlani Tatu.
The other noticeable player that's not playing today is obviously Fabian Taladera, who's played a few games in the NPL this season. Muller just dwells on it for a second, but then does enough to clear. Pasir John brings it down for Yuya Kato. And Croydon look like they want to have a go at a fourth here. So I guess just before this one finishes, Simon, Croydon, does he get there and kept that one in? Now the flag stays down. Cook lets play go on. Maybe another minute or so to go. Obviously, we spoke about the 2 5-goal games that they've drew and then won the one earlier in the season. So that's a big result. They've also won 4-1 against Playford a few weeks ago. So that's 14 goals. They scored 2 in a loss against Metro Stars. Is that the whistle gone? No. That's a lot of goals have been scored by Croydon, so I'm guessing in the back end of the season, knowing they can score them goals, they really want to, see a few more clean sheets like they have over the past month or so, where Even in the Bacala loss, it was 1-0, but that was a late loss. I think it was a Blackwood penalty that they lost to that game, I believe. Sorry, it was a Welsh penalty, not a Blackwood penalty. But knowing you're putting it up with those teams that are at the top of the ladder and scoring all these goals, I guess for Sonus it'd be like, okay, we can score the goals, but let's try not to concede as many now and push for what could be a back-to-back championship year.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would have been immediately tipping them to back it up, given some of the teams that, some of the movements that were made.
Well, especially not the way they started the season as well.
That's right. But one conversation that I do remember having, whether or not they're going as favourites or not. Just to finish that thought, that doesn't faze them at all. Even if they go into the finals in sick, it's all about what they can do once they get there, when it's that do or die time of year.
A whistle there. Croydon really put their foot down and earned the 3-0 scoreline in the end.